Let it fall, let it fall, let it fall, let your glory fall, let it fall, let it fall, let it fall, let your glory fall. Move how you wanna move, do what you wanna do. I'm moving out the way, all I want is you. You move how you wanna move, do what you wanna do. We're moving out the way, all we want is you. Doom doom, ticka doom doom doom, doom ticka doom, doom doom, ticka doom doom doom, doom 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 doom. Let it fall, let it fall, let it fall, let your glory fall. Move how you wanna move, do what you wanna do. We're moving out the way, all we want is you. I think Tasha Cobb singing better than I do. Thank you for pushing play on the Lions Roar vlog. We are on Genesis chapter 8, and we're gonna go ahead and jump right in. I know that was like a random song in the beginning, but like I started the last one off with a song, and so maybe I started this one off with a song too. Maybe that might be a thing, I don't know. My first thing tried to be like me with the hats from like the city where I'm from, and then it's like, well, you gotta have a whole lot of hats to do that. And which I could do, but then it's like, you know, right now I'm not in a settled place. So like I'm not in a home or like the land that I want to be in to be able to start really collecting and have that stuff on shelves and really nice. Like, but once I can, I'm the type that I have a new hat for every day of the year, like, or whenever I wear them. So that was like one of the gimmicks that I try to do. And sometimes you might see me still wear my hat every once in a while. It's just, I might just wear them for a long extended period of time. So maybe it might just be for me to open up these vlogs with singing, whatever. It's all good. Why not? I mean, like, it kind of reflects like how this thing goes anyway. You know, you come together, you know, you get up the spirit, you sing, you do the music, the emotion, and then it makes you ready and open to receive and hear like what's about to go forth real fast. I don't think this is going to be a very long video. This you know, like I've been watching them, and I've been reminding myself. I had done this 3 other times before. This is the 4th time, and I've learned and gotten better each time. One of the times I wasn't even posting, and I didn't even know the thing was growing. I signed on to YouTube, and I had all these followers and all these people looked at the videos, and I'm like, what? When did this happen? And then I closed that one, and then I ended up redoing it on TikTok after they let me back on TikTok, because remember, I was like booted off of TikTok for like 2 years. I had got my TikTok up to 30,000 people, and that junk happened in like a week. Like, I was, every time I signed in onto TikTok, all of my notifications were at 99, except for like messages. Messages was at like 14 or 15 from like random, like strangers, people sending me stuff, people talking. One thing that I learned is when that whole viral thing, like when it looked like you got a lot of people sitting on your page, people will just start sending you content about what you do content about. It's actually very unique. Then that kind of lets you know, like, and I'm not going to go too deep on this, but that kind of lets you know why the system is very much tries to control speakers and people who could get a crowd on one accord. Because if you talk good to these people, they're going to respond to you even if you ain't got a plan. And that could not necessarily be the best thing, but that is a thing. But some people ain't got a plan and they just talk good, and it's just like, but I've had a plan and I talk good, and people just still don't show up. So it's just kind of like, whatever. Anyway, I'm gonna go ahead and jump into Genesis chapter 8. We are in the middle of the flood. So God remembered Noah and all the wild animals and all the domestic animals that were with him in the ark. And God made a wind blow over the earth, and the waters subsided. The fountains of the deep and the windows of the heavens were closed, and the rain from the heavens was restrained, and the waters gradually receded from the earth. So that confirms that there was rain, and then there was like the water was cracking, shooting up through the ground too, like it says. Water start springing up out of the ground, and it start coming down from the heavens both ways. So water, first of all, that's kind of should let you know right there that we're surrounded by water. All this is water. Depending on what layer of the atmosphere you're dealing with, the ocean is a layer of the atmosphere. Deeper into the ocean is a layer of atmosphere, so to speak. It's atmospheric pressure, or not necessarily. I think it's barometric. It changes, but it's what I'm saying to you is the same makeup for like what you breathe. There's a certain amount of water in the air, just like it is concentrated in the ocean. But you can walk through this water, and you got to swim through that water, and the other water up there you got to fly through. Do you understand? The water higher than it, well, so at a certain point it's going to stop being water molecules, and then it's going to move into a totally different energy, and that's the energy of outer space. You can look that up, what I just said. I'm a science guy. You don't have to just take my word for it. Like LeVar Burton used to say on Reading Rainbow, you don't just have to take my word for it. You don't. Anyway, I'm going to keep reading. At the end of the 150 days, the waters had abated, meaning they had receded, they had disappeared, they had started to, it started to go down. And in the 7th month, on the 17th day of the month, the ark came to rest on the mountains of Ararat. Ararat. Now, 7th day, 17th month. That was like the same thing that it said in the previous chapter. Like this seventh day, 17th month. These things around this number 7. One thing that you have to understand is when you're dealing with the scriptures, especially sometimes like even outside of the scriptures, when you're dealing with spiritual or conscious sources, that number 7 is usually referred to a number of completion. But especially when you're dealing with the Hebrew scriptures, which is what the Holy Bible is, because it was translated. It's a translation. Always understand that. It's a translation. It is a translation. It is a translation. It is a translation. It is a translation. The English translated it. No, they were not the professionals at it. No, they were not the authority. No, they did not get told to translate it. However, the Most High used them translating it. He used it. Now, what they did with their version and slavery and all that they corroborated and appropriated and all that, they're going to have to answer for that. That's on them. The truth of who the Most High is and who these people were that he was regularly hovering around, and like whatever this spirit and this energy, this essence, this being was regularly communicating with, it doesn't change, because they wanted to write, slaves, obey your masters, for this is pleasing to the Lord. They wrote that because they want you to think that their avatar, the one that they changed the skin tone of and the hair and all that, they want you thinking that that's the only way you can have some kind of a power, as if it's through them and what they said. And I'm not going to get into that too much right now. That's going to get talked about through this vlog regularly, and I'm going to have to find ways to talk about it that's not inflammatory, because some of these people get very frustrated and irritated when you start dealing with the skin tone of things. But like I always say, why you irritated with me? Go get irritated with the people who changed it, because what did they care about it to change it enough for so much? And why you getting so irritated that I'm saying something about the fact that they changed it? Scriptures even said they was going to do it and they weren't supposed to. So you think we ain't supposed to be rectifying this? If you think we're not supposed to rectify the lie as it pertains to these scriptures of truth, then you don't really understand the Most High for real. You don't really understand the Holy Spirit for real. You don't really understand the scriptures for real. Get up here, and then you can. is available for everybody to understand it. Okay. So that 17th day thing is very interesting to me. Also, Mount Ararat. Now, I'm gonna tell you right now, if you look up that region, they look, if there was an ark in the mountains, they would have found it already by now. That's what, okay. Now they've been finding like evidence of an ark in certain places over there, but just not in that mountain range. It's just a little bit further to west of the mountain range. Say like if you're looking at the picture, as if you're actually there, it might be east of the mountain range, depending on how you're facing, but whatever. Moving towards like Canaan, Egypt, in that area, I believe that's where they need to be looking. Because remember what I dealt with in the previous video, they have we have these I got some kind of weird reflection thing going on my video, and whatever. Oh, okay, it's the edge of my monitor here. It's like I just see this weird, y'all see that? Anyway, what was I saying? It don't matter. Oh, anyway, that mountain, I wonder if they really landed in that mountain region. I think they used that mountain because it's a known mountain region in Europe. It's a known mountain region in Europe. That thing is in like Turkey. So I'm just trying to figure out how they got from that mountain all the way back to Egypt and Canaan, where like Abraham kind of picks up, and even, well, Abram at that time, and even before Abram, like they're growing, like their generations start to grow in that area, Canaan and Egypt. That's how come that one king of Egypt who rose, who oppressed them, or who enslaved them, if you will, because it's not like they went to like Hebron, or like it's not like they went to like the area where they left from Egypt, and then, you know, it's not like they went and brought and like dragged them like the transatlantic slave trade. It wasn't like that. So there are certain, okay, like for instance, there are explicit means like very clear. Explicit is not a bad word, ironically, but there are explicit and very clear oh man, I forgot what I was gonna say right there. So maybe it wasn't meant. No, I need to pull this. I need to pull this out. Whatever, man. It's all good. Let's just keep moving. I remember, I always told myself, like, even when I first started this vlog, like a little over maybe a year ago, like it's been about a year and some months, maybe a year and a half. And I should be way further than where I am. But for a year, I was living in a place where it just kind of like, that wasn't the energy, and it just wasn't conducive for me to really be able to get this vlog going like I needed to. But whatever, it just is what it is. But I always said that I would, whenever that happens, I'm just going to go ahead and keep it pushing, because maybe that's just a piece of information that didn't belong there, or maybe it'll come back up later or whatever like that. But I just find it, that whole, now I kind of am remembering what I was going to say, but that whole region of Mount Ararat, I just find it odd that they haven't found the entire ark over there. Look, if that's where it landed, to the point to where that's where the scriptures say that it is, then, and it's very evident, that mountain range is still over there. Okay, like it would be very easy for them to go dig and find it. I think they ain't done it because that's not where it landed. I think they just said that because they, and this is kind of what I was hinting at, like what I kind of forgot about, but maybe it was a more clear point. But they like plugging Europe into things. so that it corroborates and it appropriates what they're saying about, like, when they change the skin tone of everybody in the religion, when they translate everything, then they need Noah's Ark to land in Mount Ararat, which is in Rome. Like, I mean, not in Rome, in Europe. I'm sorry. But it's in the Turkish mountains. They don't even have nothing to do with the beginning. It doesn't even, you know, so it's just like, but then, like I said, oh, this is what I was saying. It's evident that there were multiple floods and other floods happening around Mesopotamia at that time, and that's where the Hebrews came from. So if I believe they need to look in that area, Egypt, Canaan, like I said in the previous video, I don't think that it landed in Mount Ararat. I think it would have landed somewhere else, and they're just saying that to appropriate their stuff. You have to know that there are some fabrications and some manipulations and some deceptions in this English translation of the scriptures. Again, like I always say, it doesn't change the power of the Most High in it. I'm just saying to you, we can point out where men do their thing, like what I said about the slave and the master. It worked for them to put that in there and to have the slaves thinking, oh, well, maybe God will have mercy on me if I allow master to whoop me good. Maybe God will have mercy on me if I will allow them to do me wrong. And they trick your minds and generations of you with that. Yeah, and it's right here for you to understand, to break out of it. But that's why, again, it's like, you know, I'm not even, I'm going to keep reading, because I'm going to keep reading. The waters continue to abate until the 10th month. In the 10th month, on the first day of the month, the tops of the mountains appeared. Now, here's the other thing you have to realize. There are mountains over there in that region of, like, Middle East, Egypt, Africa, like all up over there. It's mountains. England, it's mountains everywhere over there. So they could have very well landed in a mountain. Again, that's where they found all the scrolls at, for the scriptures, for the Apocrypha. Well, the Apocrypha was with the scriptures. Or the Ark of the Covenant, all the scrolls. Yeah, that's where they found them. The scroll, Mary of Magdalene, if you will, she wrote scrolls. They're finding them. They're finding the fragments, and they keep finding it, and they're from the same thing. They're from the same person. They're from the same writing, and they're from the same time. And I actually have them. I got a book on them, and I actually have the compiled so far. We're gonna go through it when we get into the life of Yahshua and Mary Magdalene pops up. That's when we're gonna deal with that. I got a whole book on it, dog. It's very, very interesting, because what she writes that the Messiah said to her was a lot like what Enoch, God showed Enoch way back up, way before her. Okay, so it's very interesting what she writes, and that is attributed to her, and that the Messiah is saying to her things that Enoch was being showed by the Spirit when he wrote his stuff, and they ain't nowhere near each other at all. And they had Enoch stuff for a second, so they know it's not him, because even the time frame, like the writing is different, the pathology is different, like he just is different. So they know it's not Enoch, but it's the same information that Enoch had. We're going to get into that. It's actually really, really cool. It's really interesting. And it deals with, like, yeah, it's deep stuff. There's some deep things around these scriptures that they just didn't want people to know, because they wanted to be able to be the source. They wanted to make themselves the source. They wanted to make themselves the God that you answer to. That's why all the deceptions, that's why all the manipulations, that's why all the lies, because that's why people do that. Like, that's why spirits do that, because they want to put themselves in a position to be that which you bow to, or what you answer to, or to have the power over your name, or whatever. Or they just want to, like, fight against the God in you because you're looking to hold them accountable, and they ain't trying to hear it. So a lie is easier, manipulation is easier, deception is easy. It's easier than to not deal with what you say, because then if I could make everybody else believe what I'm saying is negative about you, then it makes it easier for me to not pay no attention to you. Somebody like me, it ain't gonna stop me, but they sure be trying to. Man, they be trying to. It ain't gonna never work. At the end of 40 days, Noah opened the window of the ark that he had made and sent out the raven, and it went to and fro until the waters were dried up from the earth. Then he sent out the dove from him to see if the waters had subsided from the face of the ground. But the dove found no place to set its foot and returned to him to the ark, for the waters were still on the face of the whole earth. The raven, it didn't say that the raven, it just says that the raven went back and forth. It just went to and fro until the waters were dried up. So that's very interesting, which basically maybe means like the raven may have been perching on floating logs, dead bodies, whatever. It didn't matter. That mourning dove is not going to perch on acidic, like nasty, trifling. It's different species like out here. That mourning dove is going to perch up high on that wire or on that tree when they like they're, you won't find them coming down but to eat. That's how, mourning doves are like that. When you see a mourning dove on the ground, they're eating only. You might see other birds on the ground just randomly chilling, just jumping along and maybe looking for whatever they're looking for. Mourning doves are gonna sit up and look, and then they gone, and so that's why you have a difference there. And the raven is actually a different makeup than a mourning dove also, so that's another thing. Maybe a raven will eat some of that dead flesh. It'll peck at it, like but that mourning dove is not eating that. So different things. That's why the raven would fly around like that. And I love birds and I love animals in general, but that's why the raven would fly around like that, and then the mourning dove would come back, because that mourning dove is going to need somewhere to perch. It's not perching on, it is not perching on that wet log, and it's not perching on no dead animal or human for that matter. I don't know. So then he sent out a dove from him to see if the waters had subsided from the face of the ground. Okay, dove found no place. So he put out his hand and took it and brought it into the ark with him. He waited another 7 days, and he sent out the dove from the ark. And the dove came back to him in the evening, and there in its beak was a freshly plucked olive leaf. So Noah knew that the waters had subsided from the earth. Then he waited another 7 days and sent out the dove, and it did not return to him anymore. So that last time when it brought back the leaf, maybe it was enough, but not enough. And that dove still was probably like, no, I'm good. And then that seventh time, after 7 days, is probably, who knows how much of the water has started to subside. And now it's like, okay, yeah, I can make a nest up here. Like I'm good. And I can probably find some food. Everything's cool. Then he waited another 7 days, sent out the dove, and it did not return to him anymore. In the 601st year. Okay, you know what? Sometimes now I didn't wonder, like some of these times, like when they're calling the time of the timeline, that you can retroactively, you can pin down retroactively. So when they're saying 600, in the 601st year, meaning year 600, they ain't been around that long, okay? And so like I said, they ain't populated the whole earth. So was the flood around the entire earth, or was it just the earth that they knew, and it was just so much that they feel like, man, how would they know what was happening on the other side of the world? How could anybody know what was happening on the other side of the world? For all they know, the other side of the world could have only always been water. I don't know, but in that region though, there was definitely a flood, and it seemed to have took out everything. So this happens in the 600th first year, in the first month, first day of the month, or I would just say around the first month, first day of the month, what they assume. Because how you gonna know all the way down to the pinpoint? I don't think you can. I just think they have an idea of when it would have hit, right? So, in the 600th, okay, I read that already, and Noah removed the covering of the ark and looked and saw that the face of the ground was drying. In the second month, on the 27th day of the month, the earth was dry. Then God said to Noah, go out of the ark, you and your wives and your sons wives with you. Bring out with you every living thing that is with you of all flesh, birds and animals, and every creeping thing that creeps on the earth, so that they may abound on the earth and be fruitful and multiply on the earth. So Noah went out with his sons and his wife and his sons' wives, and every animal, every creeping thing, and every bird, everything that moves on the earth went out of the ark by families. Then Noah built an altar to the Lord, and took of every clean animal and every clean bird, and offered burnt offerings on the altar. And when the Most High smelled the pleasing odor, or when the Lord smelled the pleasing odor, or when the Spirit received or understood that offering, the vibration, because like they're saying, oh, the Most High smelled the pleasing odor. That can mean that it was something that was like sweet to the spirit. It was nice. It was like, it's just like, when you smell that person of the opposite sex and they smell so good. Like for me, when you smell that woman and oh my gosh, she smells so good. Or I know certain perfumes now, so when they walk by me or when they go by me, it's like, hey, you got on this, you got on that, you got on this. Because like I've been a man who have bought perfume for women before, and I like perfume on women that smells good, and vice versa for the ladies. It's the same thing when you're a man. When I wear certain colognes that I like, and I only wear I wear the same cologne, 4 different types of cologne. I have one for every year. I mean, one for every season of the year. And I get compliments like, oh, you smell so good. You smell so nice. What is that you wearing? So people like that nice smell. That's what that was like. It's like it was a thing of endearment to the spirit. It was endearing to the spirit. It energized the spirit positively. The spirit was happy with that sacrifice, right? So the Most High said in his heart, or said in his, I'm just gonna read it. I will never again curse the ground because of humankind, for the inclination of the human heart is evil from youth, nor will I ever again destroy every living creature as I have done. As long as the earth endures, seed time and harvest, cold and heat, summer and winter, day and night shall not cease. Right here he says, nor will I ever again destroy every living creature as I have done. You have some that say, I will not destroy, and then that's the end of the chapter. You have some that will say, I won't destroy the earth by water no more. Oh, but it'll be fire and all this stuff. I'm telling you now, I don't believe that the Most High has a plan to destroy the entire thing. I think what he has a plan to destroy is the evil off of it. And I think he can. Why can't he? Why? Think about it. Why? And then I'm going to be over because it's already 28 minutes. I'm going to say this and then I'm done. Why would he create such a beautiful place, and then because of the evil that he can clearly frame and box and put into a box and say you're evil because of ABC 1, 2, 3, or go down the list, whatever. Why would he leave such a beautiful place because you would think that everybody's not evil. There's definite evil on the planet. But I truly believe that there's more good than evil as far as it's coming from humans, because that's the only way we can really judge this. We can't judge it anywhere else. You can't judge the animals for it. You can't judge the plants for it. You can't judge the water for it. You can't judge the trees for it. You can't judge the ground, the dirt, the grass. You can't judge the water for it. Like, it's only coming from humans. Like, seriously. So what makes us think that he's going to leave this earth to evil? It just don't line up for like what the creator has showed us that he is. Like, we're gonna go through the scripture, and then look, here's the other thing that I love about doing this vlog. A lot of people would try to like paint this picture to like, oh, I'm trying to do my own thing. No, I'm not, because how am I if I'm reading this entire thing? And I'm not sitting here like, oh, I'm about to show you how this is fake. I'm about to show you how that fake. Oh, Jesus not real. You ain't gotta believe in Jesus. Nope, that's not what I'm doing at all. But that's what they would try to paint the picture and have you thinking that that's what I'm doing, because I don't kiss their butts. I don't make them feel comfortable, bro. I'm not greasing no palms. I don't care how you feel about it. The Most High prompted for me to do this vlog, and this vlog is what I'm going to do the way that I do it. Before I started, I was praying and I was like, you know, man, God, like, because this is a tithe for me. This is a tithe of my time. This is a deep tithe. And the Spirit knows, like, and God knows. And I just said, God, like, you know, I'm like, look, I'm going to keep going. So I'm not the only one doing this. There's people online reading through scriptures and all sorts of stuff right now. That's happening right now. A lot of things are being revealed. He is revealing through a lot of different sources. But then what the Spirit showed me is that, yeah, but you're the only one. You're the only you doing it. You are the only you. So you who are living for the Most High, you are the only one who's like you. That's why he needs you to do what you're doing. Don't worry about what everybody else is doing, how it's going, like whatever else is happening with them back there, over there, up there, over there, sideways, over there, whatever. Who cares? It doesn't matter. Do what the Most High called you to do. You understand? Just like Noah. Noah had to make that boat and make an ark at a time where they're like, an ark? What are you talking about? They're probably laughing at him. You know, a lot of these prophecies in the scriptures, like for instance, when Ezra gets to talking about Dead Sea, life in the Dead Sea. Oh, I can't wait until we get into the book of 2nd Ezra from the Apocrypha dog, because it deals with the time that we're living in right now. And it is so potent and so powerful. I'm just going to go out on a limb and say, like, Revelation is deep. But that book of 2nd Ezra, oh, that junk is potent. And it's a codex for Revelation. It will help you understand Revelation way more clear, because it reveals certain things about they who are on the higher level that kind of helps you understand Revelation deeper, like why the elect are ahead of everything, and then all of a sudden why there's the multitude, multi-ethnic, all them who follows the group of the elect, but the elect is ahead of them. It's a lot of that, and a lot of that is revealed in the book of 2nd Ezra, and we're gonna get into it on this vlog. I can't wait. I can't wait. In fact, we're probably going to get to those when we deal with the book of Ezra, because in the book of Ezra, it mentions, he says to Ezra, he says, like, Ezra talks about it's other writings. Yo, is this not written in the writings of Ezra, when Ezra compiled about this time and all these other times, and I just wish I could find it real fast. You could see it, like, you know, was this not written in all the other prophecies of Ezra? So there's more than what shows up in the Bible. You see what I'm saying? And it's in the Apocrypha, because they took it out and then they encoded it, or they hid it from you and basically tried to make it like, oh, we're going to encode it. You have to, and the code is you have to be distinguished of God to understand what we understand. And we've seen him smitten and esteemed, and we're the ones, and you have to come up here and be prestigious like us to understand it. That's what it meant encoded. Like, oh, only we get to understand it. It's going for you. You're gonna have to go through a whole lot to understand, to get it. Guess what? We're living at a time where the Most High has revealed it, so it doesn't even matter what they're talking about. That's the end of it, yo. You know what it is. It's the Lions War vlog. Come back for Genesis chapter 9. Peace.